All right, what's up, everyone? It is MMAOB Daily Podcast, Sunday, June 23rd. We're going to be recapping UFC Saudi Arabia. We'll talk a little bit about PFL and Bellator as well. And as always, I'm your host, as always, Adam Martin, joined by my co-host, Mr. Big Marcel. And Marcel, glad to have you here, man. I know it's been probably busy, a couple of weeks, all the changes you've had to do. Well, the UFC's done, then you've had to make your posters all over again and put the new fight updates and everything. And also, I know there's been soccer tournaments as well, so you've been busy, I'm assuming, right? How you been, man?
Yeah, doing well, man. I mean, yesterday it was kind of an early card, so it was during the soccer games. I didn't watch any soccer. I'm just watching the UFC. Yeah, that pretty much, I haven't even watched Bellator, to be honest. I didn't have time to. I did see the PFL, but yeah, I mean, all good pretty much. I have more time with those earlier cards. I mean, fuck's sake, man, those 4 a.m. cards. Fucking shit, in my opinion, but this was pretty good, May prefer it a little bit later, would have been a problem, but this is good as well, and I mean, card was pretty decent, I think. Overall, good day, man. So looking forward.
Yeah, we're gonna get into the card. I thought it was a good card too. We got one guy in the chat. We got Joe in the chat. What's up, Joe? Glad to have you here, man. I think it was a good card too. We'll give a rating at the end of it. Let's just get into it, Marcel. We'll go through the card. From a pick perspective, I had a great night, man. I went 9-2. It was one of my better nights in probably a little while now, probably a month or two. Especially after last week. I had a really rough week last week. I just couldn't pick a fight to save my life. So it was nice to get back in the win call and pick 3 underdogs correctly, Marcel. We actually had 2 consensus dogs here on the podcast. We had Volkov and Ustamir, and we had Chang Ho Lee as a consensus dog that both won. We also had Kyung Ho Kong, who lost. Although he put up a somewhat competitive fight despite the lopsided scorecards, but we did pick 2. I think there was 4 underdogs that won. We picked 2 of them. So I mean, we like a consensus. I picked 3 of them. Actually, no, sorry, 5 underdogs won because Lima won 2. So, and that we didn't really get a chance to break that one down because it was such short notice. But yeah, we'll get into that fight as well. Anyways, let's go through the card, Marcel. Actually, let's get some comments. Colostrum, Rob versus Strickland, number contender. We'll talk about Rob in a sec, but I think this fight makes a lot of sense. Actually, I prefer this than Rob just maybe fight doing the backup role. I'd rather get Strickland on the same card on the Australia card. It just makes sense, doesn't it? I think so.
Yeah, I never understand why people are so happy with a backup fighter. It's like, oh, he's the backup, dude. Match him up and listen. If somebody falls through, then be the backup. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I agree. We also got Nathan in the chat. He says, first time we catch you live, watch every show. Hey, man, we really appreciate it. Thanks for the support. Felipe Lima. Yeah, we'll talk about him as well. All right, let's get into the card. We'll go, from the top to the bottom. Robert Whittaker defeats Ikram Aliskerov. First round knockout. Yeah, I mean, we saw this coming a mile away here in the podcast, right? So I did anyways. I thought he would knock him out, and he did. Listen, Ikram is a good fighter, but this was way too big of a step up, going from Phil Hawes, Worley Alves to Rob Whittaker. It's just crazy how many people wrote off Whittaker. I don't understand really why. I mean, the guy is still one of the best guys in the world. And he proved it in this fight once again. Rob is one of the best middleweights of all time, future Hall of Famer, and especially given the circumstances with Aliskerov moving cards on short notice, going across the world, cutting weight twice. It was just a terrible, terrible fight for him. It was a good opportunity for him to take. I don't blame him for taking the fight. I just think it was a terrible matchup, and I think Whittaker should have been a much bigger favorite. So he gets the job done. Marcel wins a bonus, and I know you were impressed by the performance. He was unbelievable.
Yeah, man. Listen, I would have understood it if people were after the Dricus Duplessis fighter, maybe Whittaker is now on the decline, but he showed against Costa that he's not, Yeah. And he looked great. He immediately found out the way to attack Aliskerov. I think there was a clip on it on Twitter where somebody pointed it out with the feints. Yeah, man. I mean, good performance. I mean, people are talking about Ikram getting fraud checked. It's so weird, dude. I mean, losing to Whittaker is not getting fraud checked. You know what I mean? It was just too early for Ikram, probably. But great performance by Whittaker, man. And man, who doesn't love Whittaker? I think maybe 1% of the human population or something. He's really, really loved by a lot of people. I like him a lot. I've always been a Whittaker fan. Yeah, I mean, makes sense to match him up against Strickland. I would make a co-main event 5-rounder, winner fights for the title, I would say, and why not? Do it in Perth. You have all those 4 guys. You have on the same card. Makes a lot of sense. Perth doesn't have a good co-main event yet, so yeah.
Yeah, I think it makes sense too. And like you said, it just makes more sense than Whittaker potentially fighting as a backup. I don't blame him again for asking for that, but
No.
I just think it makes more sense for him to fight Whittaker, or sorry, Strickland to fight Whittaker in a 5-round fight, co-main event. Yeah, a couple other comments. Reaper's bad dude sure is. People say Ikram fraud checked. I don't think he got fraud. It was just circumstances. I wouldn't say that at all. I think he's still good. The other thing about Ikram though is like people were acting like this guy was like 20 years old. This guy's 31. You know, Marcel Whittaker's 33. It was a 2-year age gap, and Whittaker had way more fights, fought way better competition. Again, going from Phil Haas and Worley Alves to fighting Whittaker, way too big of a step up. And also, I mean, he's lost before. He got knocked out by Hamzat. So again, I would have picked Whittaker against Hamzat too. I really do think Whittaker would have knocked Hamzat out as well. So to get him against Aliskerov, I thought was an easy pick. Fraud check, one of the most annoying phrases alongside the losing aura shit. Yeah, I don't mind fraud check as a phrase. I think it's funny, but it doesn't work in this case. Whittaker is probably what would you say top 5 all-time middleweight? Would you put him in top 5?
Well, let's see who's above him, man. I mean, Anderson Silva's obviously above him.
Yeah.
Izzy's obviously above him. Is Rich Franklin above him in your opinion?
I'm not sure anymore. I mean, I thought Rich was one of the best, but I don't know if he's still.
Is Chris Weidman above him in your opinion? I mean, that's the thing you have to take in mind.
No, not anymore. Not anymore.
I would say, listen, be safe, say top 10.
Yeah, to be safe, but I do think he's top 5. Like top
it's possible.
3, is more,
I mean, you know I love Robert Whittaker, so I mean, I'm a little bit biased maybe to put him top 5, but yeah.
I'm just checking right now to see middleweight defenses. So Anderson had 10. Wyman had 3. Did Rob defend? Rob never defended the title though.
No.
Yeah, that's the problem, right? He never defended the belt. Actually, no, he didn't, did he?
Was it interim?
Yeah, it was interim against Super. That's the problem, right? So, I mean, you brought up Wyman. I said no, but then I'm looking at it now, and it's like Wyman does have more defenses, and then
Luke Rockhold.
I wouldn't put Rockhold there. I mean, he had a short.
No, me neither. But the thing is, like, you know what I mean? It's like a lot of people will say Rockhold was great as well. People will say Vitor Belfort was great as well at middleweight. You know what I mean?
At one point in time, yeah.
Yeah. So it's really like, how do you say that? It's really like, from a personal point of view, would I put him top 5? Probably. You know, but I mean, it's not like for sure. You know, I mean, Anderson is for sure. Israel is for sure. You know what I mean? So.
And we'll see how good Duplessis is. I mean, he might go out there and knock Adesanya out, and maybe he fights Whittaker, knocks him out too, and then he becomes the best guy ever. So I don't know. It's hard to say. All right, we'll go to the co-main event here. Marcel, I was a little over this one. Alexander Volkov defeats Sergei Pavlovich. You made it look easy, Marcel. Pavlovich, you know, again, one-dimensional Marcel. He's just a power puncher. He got picked apart for 50 minutes. I really like Volkov in this fight. And the other thing was, like, even if this fight went to the ground, I think he would have dominated there too. So, like, not only did he prove he was the better striker, but he was the better overall fighter as well. I think Volkov is one of the best heavyweights in the UFC. I think he doesn't get enough credit. I think he's very good, and he's won 4 straight fights, and he's looked amazing, Marcel. So he just was Sergei ranked number 1? Oh, he's not number 3. Well, I guess he wouldn't really pass Blades because it's kind of weird now, right? Because Blades lost to Pavlovich and then Volkov lost to Blades. It's kind of weird, right? So it's MMA math doesn't work, but I guess Volkov moves to number 3. I guess he does. I guess he would.
I think you can make 2 fights right now. You can make him fight Cyril Gane in a rematch, I think, or you make him fight Jilton Almeida.
Yeah, that's the one I like.
It depends what the UFC wants. If the UFC still sees Volkov as like a legit contender for the title, they should make him fight Gane. If they feel like they want to build him up, build somebody else up against him, and think that guy can beat him, they should beat him up. They should make him fight Almeida. You know what I mean? So, but by the way, yeah, good pick by you, man. I mean, we were head to head against each other in the Survivor pool with on the Discord with James Lynch. You had Volkov, I picked Pavlovich, and I had to mention I had the first pick of everyone, so I fucked up. But yeah, I was like, Pavlovich can knock him out, you know, and that was pretty much my play. I knew if he didn't knock him out and it goes to the later round, Volkov might have the advantage. Probably Pavlovich's most frightening moment in the fight was after the fight when he pushed Volkov for no reason. Yeah, great win by Volkov. What can I say? Complete performance. He won all 3 rounds. I don't know why. I think one judge gave it 29-28.
In the first round, I don't agree with that at all.
3 rounds for Volkov, in my opinion. Great win by him. Good win by him. And this is a win you need, man. And this is the win that Volkov always lacked, in my opinion. You know, a win against somebody in the top 3. Now he has that win against somebody in the top 3, and now maybe he can come further. But it will get more difficult now because he now is going to meet the guys he already meet and didn't win against, like a Blades, again, Aspinall. You know what I mean? So maybe
fought them all rematches now, right?
Yeah,
that's kind of why I like the Almeida fight, because it's fresh.
Yeah.
So I don't mind that, but I don't mind a rematch with Gane either. You know, the first fight was somewhat competitive. Actually, it wasn't like, I know the scorecards don't say that, but it was somewhat competitive. But yeah, I mean, I'd have to think about those fights are harder. I think, but more well-rounded guys, obviously. But yeah, so we'll see what happens there. Go ahead.
The problem for Volkov is indeed that he fought almost everybody now who's above him. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So if the UFC doesn't see any way to make those fights a rematch, they see nothing in that. He will probably have to fight down now again, you know, or now has to fight down while he won against a fight who was above him. You know, but we'll see, man. I mean, if he brings the same to the table as he does in this fight to somebody else, maybe he can make a good fight, you know. But, you know, Almeida is a completely different fighter than Pavlovich, for example. So we'll see, man, you know.
All right, a couple other comments here. Crazy Whittaker's and title defense. Again, interim belt, but not the undisputed belt. What do you guys think you should do? Yeah, we like the Almeida fight, but Gane is fun too.
Yeah.
Volkov got robbed of a bonus against 2 fights. He 100% did. That was ridiculous. I mean, that Ezekiel choke is so rare. He should have got a bonus. Volkov should be ahead of Blades. Longer win streak. Yeah, I think they might put him at 3, but again, the rankings are stupid anyways. Yeah, we talked about that. Hey, Tristan. Yeah, I love Volkov in this fight. Pavlovich versus Rosenstrike. Sure. Yeah, you could.
You know what's always funny to me that Dana's always shitting on the rankings, but he has a whole war room where he has all the rankings on the board. He's like, he's this is that. I'm like, dude, if you don't care about the fucking rankings, why do you even use
I
it?
know.
You know what I mean?
That's Dana being Dana. Volkov becoming champion, feel good moment. I think, again, Volkov, I've been watching the guy for over a decade. Bellator. I never expected him to be like this good, though, man. I got to be honest with you. I never thought he'd be this good. He really is one of the best heavyweights in the world. And, you know, I would say probably, like, I would guess, like, top 20 of all time. Something like that. Top 20.
I think the problem for me with Volkov is when he came to the UFC, he fought Tim Johnson. I thought he lost that fight. You know,
I know.
But I thought he lost, and then he beat Werdum. I think
that was a huge win.
Yeah, that was a big win back then. It was a main event in England back then, and then he lost to Lewis in a fight he was winning. You know, then he climbed back, and then losing again to Gane, for example. Then he's losing to Blades in a lopsided fight. You know, so
he climbs up and then falls.
Yeah, exactly. And now he's finally on a 4-fight win streak again. Let's see how it goes, man. I hope for him the best, you know, but I'm always on the fence with him because I think he is pretty good. He's all round, you know, but he's missing the, how do you say that? Just that click to get to that top in the division. But we'll see. Maybe it comes with the years, you know.
Yeah, no, I agree completely. All right, let's get. I think there's a few other comments, or just nothing else really. Actually, let's go to the next fight. Kelvin Fatsalom defeats Dan Rodriguez. We didn't get a chance to talk about the whole weight thing, obviously. So first off, I mean, I agree he won the fight. But I also don't agree with 30-27. D-Rod won that second round.
Yeah.
Right? So I had 29-28.
Me too.
Listen, I've been a Kelvin fan for a long time, guys. I picked him to win the Ultimate Fighter back in the day. I picked him against Uriah Hall. He was a big underdog in that fight. He was like plus 300, I remember, plus 350. I've always liked the guy, but he's a cheater, and he cheated this week. He came in overweight. He used his weight advantage in the 3rd round to win the fight. I feel bad for Dan Rodriguez. I really do, because he's kind of in a bad spot. Like, what does he do? Say no to this fight? He could have easily said no, but then he doesn't get paid. So I don't know, man. I think Kelvin is just an unprofessional guy. I hated the post-fight interview where he just thanked Dana and Hunter Campbell. Didn't say anything to D-Rod, even though he's the only reason he got the fight. And I wasn't honestly that impressed by his performance. I mean, again, he won, but it wasn't super impressive, especially with the weight advantage he had. I'm just really upset with the guy, man. I really am, because he did that video on his YouTube, missing weight with Kelvin. going eating tacos. He didn't take it seriously, Marcel. He really didn't. Guy's an unprofessional fighter, straight up. What does the UFC do with him? So, actually, let me get your thoughts on the fight first, and then I'll ask you about that. Go ahead.
I mean, the fight was 2-1 for Kelvin. I think he won the fight. Dana wasn't happy with the weight miss, he said, after the fight.
Saw that.
I mean, I think it will be hard for Kelvin to remain at the welterweight now. Definitely because he missed weight so many times, and the thing is, like, I really like Kelvin, so I hate to say something bad about it, but of course it's unprofessional what he did, and he knows that damn well, We'll see what happens. They will definitely keep him around, but will he continue at middleweight or at welterweight? We'll see,
I don't see any way, just to answer this question, I don't see any way he's staying at welterweight. I mean, he can't really make it consistently. Just looking at his record, he fought Sean Brady at welterweight. All the other fights are at middleweight. He can't make welterweight, man. He can't do it. He's going to have to fight at middleweight. I don't think they're going to cut him, especially coming off a win. They won't cut him. He's also obviously he's been in the UFC for 12 years now, so they're not going to cut him. And if they cut him, he just goes to PFL, right, or Bellator. So there's no point in cutting him. But I also feel like there's no chance that he's going to be getting a big name fight. I mean, I don't know. Like, looking at middleweight, like, I'd imagine. I mean, I guess he could still fight someone in the top 15, but it'd be the bottom end. Like, I just don't see them putting him in that mix for the title right now, anytime soon. Listen, the guy won the fight. I've always been a fan of the guy, but I am personally disappointed in him. I mean, it doesn't matter what I think, anyways. But I feel it doesn't. But I feel bad for Daniel Rodriguez because Marcel, he's lost 3 straight fights on. They might cut him.
Possible.
They shouldn't, though, right? They should give him one more. What do you think?
Yeah, why not? I mean, give him one more. It's not like he got blasted away in those fights,
Yeah, well, he did in the last fight against Machado. But yeah, I just feel bad for D-Rod. I think he got a raw.
I mean, to be fair, which guy will probably not get loose to Machado Gary outside the top 15?
Yeah,
pretty much
everybody. Right. All right, next fight here: Sherrod Bullet Magomedov defeats Antonio Tricoli knockout. I don't think we got a chance to talk about this fight because it was short notice.
Mm-hmm.
I thought Tricoli won the first round. I don't know. Did you think he won the first round?
Yeah, but 2 judges didn't.
one judge did, but 2 didn't. Yeah, I thought he won the first round. Then obviously, he was exhausted after that.
Mm-hmm.
The strikes landed 82-16. Magomedov was my most confident pick on the card, to be honest with you, just because of the short notice and everything. But I wasn't impressed at all with this guy. I don't think he's that good. I got to be honest with you guys. I just don't think he's that great. Like, he beat a guy that could barely stand, right? So a guy was exhausted, and he didn't look great doing it, I don't think. He also can't fight in the U.S. I mean, so really, what's the point? Like, he's a guy that's going to be in these fun kind of type fights, but they shouldn't put him really against top 15 guys because what's the point? Why risk that, a guy that's ranked to lose and then fight a guy that can't fight in the States and defend his belt there if he ever wins it? So, I don't know, man. I don't think he looked that good in this fight. I don't think he deserved a bonus. I don't think he should have got a bonus. Go ahead.
Listen, man, I have nothing against this guy, but this guy's just like Sage Northcutt 2.0, you know what I mean? It's like a lot of hype. People are getting crazy when he fights. But take away the one eye look, that kind of stuff, and people wouldn't even talk about him. Let's be really honest, man. Yeah. I mean, he has some crazy kicks. I give him that. He got some really hard kicks. But besides that, I think he loses to every decent grappler in the UFC. You know what I mean? So he could make sure that Tricoli didn't took him down. He needed a fence grab. By the way, very bad ref by Mark Goddard at that moment. Should have taken a point.
Yeah, terrible.
Yeah, should have taken a point there. Didn't
position, right? Or
yeah.
Takedown. Yeah.
I honestly don't think it wouldn't have mattered in the long run. I think Tricoli was pretty much done already at that moment. But still, he would have had to take down. But I feel like it was a good win for Magomedov. He got the finish, but I mean, I cannot really say that I'm impressed, dude. I mean, a lot of people over here in the Netherlands are like, "Oh my God, Sherrod Bullet, I don't see it,
Yeah. No, I'm with you. I mean, I wasn't impressed personally, and I picked him. And clearly thought he won the fight, but
yeah, I went for a gamble.
Was winning the fight, I should say. Yeah. Yeah, Marcel broke this fight. Rosen striking Tuvasa. You broke it, right? Oh, you
Nah,
did?
the thing is like Tuivasa was on Alex Pereira's vlog, and I think Plinio Cruz asked him, when do you have a fight? He said Perth against Rosenstruck. Thank God no fucking wrestling.
Oh,
So I checked with Rosenstruck's side, and they said like, yeah, it's done deal. So then I posted it, but I had to wait a day because I saw it, but I cannot post it without knowing from
I
the other
understand.
side of it through. So yeah.
Nick Newell with the one arm could fight. Paul could fight Tyson with Sherpa looking. I don't know. I guess they don't have another Michael Bisping situation or something. Who's the real pirate Sherpa or Morgan Charrier? Probably Morgan. That's his name. Nickname. All right. Opening the main card. We both have this consensus dog. Volkan Oezdemir knocks out Johnny Walker first round. Great performance by Volkan. Gets the bonus. Well deserved. First win by knockout in like 5 years, which is kind of crazy thing because I look at him as like a knockout artist. I think Volkan is like the most underrated guy at 205. I really do. I don't think anyone talks about him enough. He's a tough out for anyone. He gave Magomed and Kaliyev a tough fight.
He has the same problem. He has the same problem as Shara. He cannot fight in the US.
Yeah, I know. Is it because he has a record?
I think it is. Yeah.
I think so too because I don't see any other reason. But I think he's such a good fighter. But they have to put him again. The last time he fought in the States was in 2018, Marcel Miocic Nagano card. That was
they probably put him in Paris or in Abu Dhabi again. You know. No.
Yeah, it's just unfortunate because I think he's so good. But yeah, I think he'll probably fight. I would imagine the Abu Dhabi card, maybe Paris, but I think Abu Dhabi makes sense.
I fought in Paris last year. That's why I said Paris. So you know.
Yeah. So Oezdemir's ranked 8. He just 9. Sorry, he beat number 7. I don't know if Khalil Roundtree's would take this fight, but I wouldn't mind that fight. That would be a good fight. Roundtree's ranked 8, so it makes sense. To be honest, Carlos Alberg would be okay too.
Right? I want the rematch against Rakic.
Or Rakic, yeah, because I thought that first fight, to be honest, I thought Rakic won the fight.
Yeah.
But Volkan got the decision. That rematch would make sense. I like that one too. It's scary seeing Walker get knocked out. He's been knocked out a lot now. He's been knocked out, I think, 5 times.
For me, Johnny Walker, he is super popular, and that's why people are always going with him. But
his chin is not very good. He's been knocked out in the last 2 fights.
He's a fun guy. Don't get me wrong.
He's a fun guy. They're not going to cut him, obviously. He's top 15. But yeah, I think to be honest, like I wouldn't mind Walker fighting Bogdan Guskov. I wouldn't mind that. I wouldn't mind him fighting any of these guys, really. Like,
yeah, he's not fighting Guskov. Guskov is his boy.
Is he?
Yeah, because he's trains with his brother, Wolf Walter.
Oh, that's right. Okay. Dominic Reyes, like any of these guys, even Menefield, Mirzakhanov, any of those guys, top 15. They all make fun. They're all fun. Just like he said. Yeah, they're all fun.
I like the Reyes fight, actually. I think it makes sense.
I don't mind it at all. I think it's fine. Or even Reyes against Oezdemir is fine, too. I mean, really. All right, go to the prelims here. Nasrat Haqparast defeats Jared Gordon, split decision. I think they should have won fight of the night. I would have given them both.
I agree.
I hope the UFC gave them something on the side. I hope so, because these guys put everything on the line in this fight. It was a great fight. It was a close fight. I scored it for Nasrat barely. I thought he barely edged it out. It was so close. If you gave it to Gordon, that's fine. I know a lot of people gave it to Gordon. Here's the thing, though. Like, there's 2 things about this fight. So first off, I mean, it's clearly 1-1 heading in the 3rd round. So it all comes down to the 3rd round, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I think number one, I think that people wanted to see an upset. I think people aren't, huge Haqparast fans. They wanted Gordon to win. It's a good story. And number 2, when they do these fights, there's these like stats they put up on the screen, but those aren't official stats. Like, I don't even know why they put them up. I don't see the point of them. And when I'm watching, sometimes I'm like, wait, that guy did not land more strikes than the other guy. Then I see the official stats later, and it's completely opposite. So they put up a stat sheet that said Gordon was outlanding him like 2-1 in the 3rd round. Then the official stats came out, and Haqparast actually outlanded Gordon. So I'm like, okay, well, my eyes weren't deceiving me on this one. That's all I'm saying, Marcel. I think people look at those stats on the screen, they're like, oh, well, this guy clearly won. Also, the betting odds had Haqparast losing the 3rd round. Like, they had Gordon winning the fight at the end of the fight. Those don't matter either. I mean, it's something to consider, but it doesn't mean that the judge is going to go that way. It was a close fight. Again, you want to give it to Gordon, no problem, but I thought Haqparast edged out barely because I thought he landed some cleaner shots and did a little more damage. And again, one of these guys got sent to the hospital and he couldn't even open his eyes after the fight, guys. That was Jared Gordon. Again, if you thought Gordon won, no problem. I don't have an issue with it because, again, it was a close fight. 74-70 in significant strikes for Haqparast. Super close. So, I don't know. Who did you have it for?
Yeah, I scored the fight for Jared Gordon.
There you go.
But at the same time, I I don't mind. It was a close fight, could have gone both ways.
Sure.
I think I said it in the Discord as well that I felt like it was like a close fight and no robbery at all or whatever. I think it was anybody's fight. I wouldn't have mind if Haqparast won like he did. I wouldn't have mind if Gordon won. I mean, it was a close fight. It was not like the Gordon against Pimblett one where people were comparing it to. That was absolutely not true. Good for Haqparast, man. He pretty much turned his career around. He started with a loss in a competitive fight against Martinelli, I remember. After that, he did really well. Then he got knocked out by Dober. I think he lost to Green, lost to Hooker. But I mean, he pretty much turned his career around. Got 4 straight wins now, I think. Looking for what's next for him, man. I think he's a fun fighter to watch.
He is. A couple of comments here. Blatant fence grab. Was that in this fight? I can't remember. Was it in this fight? Was that another fight? It was another fight, Joe.
What fight you're referring to, Joe?
I mean, there was the fence grab, obviously, in the one we already talked about, but I don't know. It's worth recording. I don't think it was a robbery though. Who you'd like more for Usman, Hill or Blachowicz? I actually don't mind Hill versus Blachowicz, to be honest with you. 2 forward champs. I think Usman's not there yet. Personally. Round 2, Walker 2. That's fine too. All right, go to the next fight here. Felipe Lima, huge UFC debut win here over Muhammad Naimov, 3rd round comeback win. Well, not really a comeback, I guess, because personally, Marks, I don't know how you scored this. I had Naimov winning the first 2 rounds.
Yeah, me too.
One of the judges had Lima winning the first 2 rounds. That Vito Paolo guy who had terrible scorecards.
He fucking sucked the whole night.
Sucks. And by the way, I was watching him, so I was watching because you can see the judges outside the cage.
Yeah.
And he had like a piece of paper and was writing stuff down. So he kept putting his head down to write stuff. Like, I don't like that. I think you should be looking at the fight the entire time. It's only 5 minutes. I don't think you need to be really writing stuff down to remember it. You should be able to remember it. If you want to take something down, okay, but I don't really get it.
I was one time, I think I told you that at a kickboxing event.
Yeah.
I was next to a judge,
Yeah.
and he had like a blue ticker in his left hand and a red ticker in his right hand. And every time somebody did something, it was like tick, tick, tick,
Yeah.
tick. And at the end, he looks who has the most. And he
I think that's a little different because I think you could do that in just a straight striking sport where who had the.
I don't think so
shots.
because
I don't agree with it either because the bigger shots, right?
The impact, yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I agree. Again, I just noticed that the guy kept putting his head down. I noticed it when I was watching, and I was like, huh. And then the guy had shitty scorecards. So whatever he was writing down on his piece of paper was wrong. I'll just say that. But yeah, Lima looked. I mean, he looked pretty good. Like again, I thought it was a competitive fight. It was 2 close rounds, I thought, for Naimov. But yeah, one judge had 2-0 for Naimov, one had 2-0 for Lima, one had a 1-1. So it was going to be a split decision, but Lima took the judges out of the equation. Kid looked good, man. Gets the win. He's only 25, 26.
Yeah, he's young.
Yeah.
And a weight class up.
And I think you picked him, didn't you? You picked him?
No. I picked Naimov.
Yeah, because with the short notice kind of threw me off here. But the kid looked good. And again, he fought at featherweight in this fight, but he's a bantamweight. Bantamweight just gets better and better every fucking week, it seems like. There's always a new killer coming out. So
division,
best division in the UFC, best division in the sport. Yeah, Lima looked amazing. That whole octagon promotion, I don't watch it enough, to be honest with you, Marcel. I don't know if you watch it. You watch it? Yeah?
No, sometimes, not all the time.
But it's great. Like, I mean, it's one of the best promotions. Like, it really is. Renat Fakhrizadeh defeats Nick Dalby. Split decision. Another close fight. Came down to the 3rd round. And again, it was close. Stats, 18-17 in strikes for Nicholas Dalby. 2 takedowns for Renat with over 3 minutes of control time. So, again, if you thought Dalby did more damage, fair enough. I don't think so. I think it was close. I think it was kind of like really just close. And since Renat had the more effective grappling, I gave it to him. That's kind of how I scored it. So it was a close fight. It could have went either way, really. But I had Renat winning. How'd you have it?
Also had Renat winning 2-1. I got to say, man, a friend of mine, I think he said after the Kevin Lee fight, he's like, I'm still not impressed by Renat. I don't think he's that great, And it was back then when everybody was like, and I think us too as well, that like he can be top 10, top 5 maybe. And then he faded so badly against Aliskerov dos Santos last time. He got the draw in that one because he would lose a 10-8 round, I think. But he faded so badly. And now again, I felt like he did well, but it's like very. How do you say that? The way he fights, if he doesn't end it in the first round, or early second round, it gets dragging on. You know what I mean? So if he comes further in his career and he wins the next fight, maybe they give him a main event or whatever, and he gets into a 5-round fight in the Apex. I think that's tough. You know what I mean? Because he really struggles in 3-round fights. He won the fight against Dalby. Dalby is like a super difficult fighter for almost everybody to fight because of the heart he has. Dalby made me crazy with his breathing technique during the fight, by the way. Jesus, man. What the hell? I thought they had the how do you say that? Jason Herzog's microphone on again, like they sometimes have. You're like, makes me crazy all the time. But good win for Renat. Let's see what's next for him. Might get somebody close to the top 15 or just in the top 15 again. I would make him fight Randy Brown probably.
That's a good fight too. I mean, again, Randy's probably the 16th guy. I don't mind that fight at all. I also think Neil Magny's an interesting fight. Again, one of these cardio kings. Jeff Neal's an interesting fight. I think he needs a top 15 guy now at this point, personally, because we have to see how good he really is. Also, they didn't count his first round knockdown as a knockdown. Again, I don't know what's
clear
going on
knockdown.
I know, I don't get it. I don't understand. I mean, and if you ask these guys, they're going to say, well, there needs to be like a duration of time the guy's lying on the ground.
It's so stupid.
I don't agree with it. I mean, it's just like Max and Justin. Even Max said, well, Max was shocked. He's like, okay, I'll take the record, but yeah. Apparently it wasn't a knockdown, Tristan. It should have been. Lima Octagon champion, yeah, for sure. How do you think Magny? I think it's an interesting fight. I think it's interesting. I could also see Renat getting a 5-round fight, maybe, potentially, a main event. Could he fight in the States, Renat? He can fight in the States?
Yeah, he can.
So there you go. I mean, they could bring him in to do a fight night card or Apex.
Apex, yeah.
Yeah, and they could do him against Magny or Jeff Neal, someone like that. Dalby Walden in the third end. It was close, man. I mean, it could have went either way. Renat in the first, lot to do with he is striking. It's not the best. Not Wonder Boy. I would pick Wonder Boy.
I don't think Wonder Boy likes to fight a lot.
I would pick Wonder Boy though. I honestly would. I Wonder Boy is way better than Nick Dalby. He's good. I know he's old now. He's 41, I think. But
Wonder Boy barely can grapple, dude. So I don't know.
I know, but I think he can knock him out. We'll see though. I mean, he's grappling sucks, so maybe not. Maybe I'm being a little confident, but I don't know. I mean, Renat's good, but I don't know if he's top 10. Do you think the UFC likes Renat more now? Maybe. He's talking about Bullet for the fence grab. Yeah, that was blatant fence grab. I don't think his cardio holds up either. He's going to be in trouble in 5-round fights. But that's why I want to see it.
And don't forget that Dalby's 40 now. Eh?
Dalby is 40. You're right. For a 40-year-old, he did really well, man.
Yeah.
Well, he's turning 40 this year. He's 39. So let's not give him a 40-year-old.
Okay. I'm sorry, Nicholas.
Wayne Gaffarov defeats Kyung Kong. Unanimous decision. Yeah, I mean, we got this one wrong. He clearly won the fight. He did way more damage. It's crazy because Kong had like so much control time and had like tons of full mounts and like dominant position side control and didn't do anything with it, Marcel. The guy blew it in my opinion. But,
I mean, it was like, oh, he's going to win the third round. Then he let Gaffarov stand up and he got beat his ass for the last 20 seconds. And he's still losing also the third round. So, yeah good for Gaffarov. I'm happy for
finally
Gaffarov.
Gets a win, right?
Finally. Yeah.
Finally. I mean, it was obviously turned to be a good matchup for him. But I don't know. I see a lot of holes in this game, dude. I really do. There's a lot of holes in this guy's game.
Antoine, this is the second week in a row. 3 weeks, 3 strikes, you're out. You know?
He's joking, but yeah, it was crazy.
I know.
Man. And we like the Strickland fight personally. Next fight, Magomed Gajiasulov against Brenton Hibero. Majority decision. Again, this Vito Palillo guy just shit scorecards the whole night. I mean, clearly it was 29-28. Clearly.
This idiot gives 2 first rounds to Branson Ribeiro.
How did he give the second round to Branson Ribeiro?
And then he's like, maybe I made a mistake. Let's give Gajiasulov a 10-8 round in the third round.
7 strikes landed, 10-8 round. What a joke.
What the hell,
this
dude?
This guy's a terrible judge. I hope he hears the podcast. Dude, get in, work on your craft, man. I shouldn't call you a terrible judge, brother, because I know it's not easy, but work on your craft, man. You know, seriously, because at this level of the sport, man, you got to be better than this. You know, and I know that the bar is so low with judging MMA. It's so low. The bar is low. But I mean, you can't give this fight a draw. That's a joke.
I mean, they fly in Sal Diamado to Saudi Arabia.
Sal actually had some of the better scorecards. Just crazy I actually think Sal's gotten better over the years, which, you know.
I mean, it's about fucking time, dude.
Yeah, I know. I think he's gotten better, though, Marcel.
Fucking out of here, man.
He's not the worst guy anymore. Chris Lee is one of the worst guys.
Yeah,
the Derek Cleary guy is bad. Adley Bird's not very good. The Tony Weeks guy who's a referee in boxing, he's
Jaron
not very
Villel.
good. Jaron Villal's terrible at reffing and judging. Again, the bar is just so low in the sport. It's really low. I mean, who's the good judge? Mike Bell. And Mike Bell's the best judge, and he fucked up one scorecard.
And everybody's hating him. Yeah.
And they threw him out. They banished him for like 6 months. It was a joke. They used him as the bar for shitty judging. When you had guys like Chris Lee scoring Paul Felder against RDA and stuff like that, or whoever scored Cheeto Vera against Corey Sandhagen. Like, there's some horrible scorecards in the sport.
It's still Paul Felder. It's like Bruce Buffer. It's like score the fight. 48.
What's the dude's name from the Strickland Costa fight? Whatever, David
Raleigh.
Fucking horrible. I mean, come on.
I love Felder's face when they read the scorecards. It's like look like 48, 47. Okay, Felder.
I know. Hey, he's like, fuck, I can win this. Like, that'd be crazy. Can't questionable fight IQ. Same with Ribeiro. Ribeiro was winning that fight. He went for that guillotine. So stupid. He was winning the fight. He was destroying the guy's legs in the first round. Again, Ribeiro's not that great, but they'll give him one more fight because he's getting, 10-10, 12-12, right?
Yeah, but those guys, those doggies who are training in Kingdom of Bahrain, they haven't been impressive, man. It's like Gaziev. It's him. And it's
good, bro. This guy's not that good.
Dude.
I'm looking to fade him in his next fight, hopefully.
Yeah.
If he fights someone decent, I'm fading him. They'll probably give him a favorable fight in the Abu Dhabi card, if I had to guess. I think they're going to give him someone that he can beat, but we'll see. First fight of the night, Chang Li. We both picked him as a dog, too. Marcel had the sign, held it up last week against Zhao Long. I scored it for Zhao Long. It was a very close fight. Third round, 22-18 in strikes. I thought that Zhao landed some bigger shots. That's why I scored it for him. So, again, I'm trying not to be biased here. I thought that the guy that we didn't pick won, but I don't have a problem with the scorecard at all. Don't get me wrong. It was a very close fight. I just edged it for Long. I think you did too, right? We talked about this a little bit. You scored for Lee?
I scored 2-1 for Lee. I think Zhao Long won the first round.
I don't mind this at all. Yeah.
I think Zhao Long won the first round. And what the hell were with these judges' scorecards, man? They also were all over the place.
The judges had the rounds flipped, and I almost wondered if they thought the wrong guy was the other guy. Like, if they just didn't know who the guys were.
They were like, both Asians. Nobody knows. That's what they thought.
Yeah, Lee landed some headbutts or whatever. Clash of heads, I should say. They should replace Goddard with Nate Lesnar. Goddard didn't have a great night. Did you guys see Whittaker offering lightweight fight? Yeah, I don't know. Maybe Oliveira, I'm not sure. But anyways, getting back to this card, Marcel. Yeah, I mean, listen, there was a few fights that could have gone either way. Like, if the judges went the other way in the Gordon fight, in the Dalby fight, and the Lee fight, I don't think anyone would have said anything. They could have went either way in those fights. So some close fights, but overall, I think it was a good card, a pretty good card. I would say, the bar was so low after last week, right? Again, right?
I'm going 7.
I was thinking 7 too. So we'll go 7 out of 10 on this card. Main card was great though. I think the main card was better. Some of the prelims, I'm like, holy shit, are we ever gonna get a finish? But yeah. All right, so that's good with UFC Saudi Arabia. Let's go over to we'll do PFL really quick, Marcel, if that's okay with you.
Yeah. Do I have a choice?
Sorry?
You say if it's
No. Did you get a chance to watch it or no?
I've seen a few fights, not all, man. I was pretty busy there on Friday.
Man. It's not your job, right? Really. I mean, you do MMA, but you're a UFC guy. That's what Eurosport pays you to do. Let's just go through it really quick. Big upset in the main event. Mads Burnell defeats Clay Collard. Yeah, I mean, it's surprising, right? Definitely a big upset there.
I still think they should do something there, man. It's so fucking weird to see one guy losing and the other guy progressing,
It's bizarre. Impa Kasangane defeated Jacob Neto, knockout, second round. Yeah, I mean, Impa just came out of nowhere and went for that crazy knockout at the end. So good for Impa. I think he's the number 1 seed in the next tournament, or in the it's the same tournament.
Playoffs.
The playoffs. Bruno Miranda gets the win over Patricky Pitbull. That was a split decision, close fight. Rob Wilkinson split decision over Josh Oliveira. Another close fight. Dovechan Yagjimarodov clearly won his fight. Another big upset here is Alex Polizzi defeats Antonio Carlos Jr. Carlos Jr. looked horrible. I don't know if you saw this one, but he looked like shit. He looked terrible. Going to the prelims here, my boy Brent Primus gets the win over Solomon Renfro. Brent is the number 1 seed in the lightweight division. Who do you think win? Okay, let me go through it quick. I'm just going to ask you who you think wins after. Sadie Busti gets the knockout win. Gazi Rabananov wins. Adam Piccolotti with an upset over Mikhail Dufour. A lot of people thought he lost that fight. Sergio Cosio, a big upset over Anthony Genius Romero. And then Brandon Zurcher had a crazy knockout in the first fight. That was actually a really good knockout. If you missed that, check it out.
By the way,
go ahead. Yeah, I'll get
you know what really bothered me, man, is that they pulled that Albrechtsen guy from the fight.
That's not fair.
Yeah.
That's not fair, dude. So he goes and makes weight, shows up, does his job, and then fucking Tom Breeze pulls out again. How many times does Tom Breeze pull out in the fight on the day of the fight?
Yeah.
Like many. And I know he's got some anxiety problems. Maybe this isn't for him then, you know? That sucks. I sympathize for him, but
I don't know if he has any kids, but I wouldn't believe it, you know. I'm just kidding.
Oh God.
I'm just kidding.
I get it now. All right, let's go to the playoff standing. So Impa number 1 against number 4, Josh Oliveira. I mean, Impa should win that fight, and he should be favored to win the tournament, I would think, right?
Yeah, I agree.
Rob Wilkinson against Yagji Muradov. Who do you favor in that fight? That's an interesting one, right?
I wouldn't be surprised if Yagji Muradov wins that fight, to be honest.
You liked it for a while, huh? You've been pretty high on him. Yeah, he's decent. Again, he actually has a loss to Carl Albrechtsen in Bellator, but, you know, Carl got screwed. That one's kind of interesting. I don't know. Rob Wilkinson, I'm not sure about it anymore, to be honest with you. You know, he's not on his juice anymore, right? But he has won like 10 straight fights, so tough one. Lightweight division, Brent Primus, Clay Collar. Who do you favor?
Brent Primus, Clay Collar. It depends, man. If he keeps standing, Clay Collar, but Brent Primus is pretty good, you know.
I think Primus wins, dude.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I'm kind of 50-50 on it. I'm not convinced, you know. But I understand you picked Primus. Makes sense.
I really like Primus. I think he's just an underrated guy. I know he's 39, so he's a little older, but to me, he's been one of the most underrated lightweights for like a decade. No one ever talks about him. Everyone forgets about his win over Michael Chandler because he got injured. I get that, but he still won the belt. You know, he was still a champion at one point. He also beat Benson Anderson. He beat Mansour Barnaoui. Those are good wins, man. And he got kind of screwed against Usman, who was on some sort of PED when they fought, right? So
who did you say? Michael Chandler?
He beat Michael Chandler.
You mean Michael Hashiko?
It was an injury knockout, but yeah, still.
Yeah.
And then the other fight
with the stool taking away when he wanted to sit, remember?
Yeah. Gadzhi Ramadanov against Mikhail Dufort. I mean, you know, I want to back my boy Dufort, but I'm not sure about this one.
That's a difficult one, dude. For Dufort.
Yeah, I agree. Really quick, we'll go to Bellator Dublin. Did you get a chance to watch it? Okay.
I haven't seen it, just seen the results.
Okay, we'll just go through the results quickly then. So, yeah, we had an upset in the main event. We have a new Bellator champion in the welterweight division. Ramazan Kurmagomedov defeats Jason Jackson. Yeah, decision. Won the first 3 rounds.
I said last week it's possible, man. You know?
Yeah, you did call it. Jackson gassed out in the last, or no, sorry, Ramazan gassed out. Jackson came on, but he didn't do enough. Like, I think he could have forced a draw and kept his belt if he just landed strikes, but he didn't land any strikes. He was holding on for dear life. Really bad loss for Jason Jackson, man. Snapped a huge win streak for him, and it's upset. So the Ramazan guy we talked about it. He was in the UFC for a minute, cup of coffee, basically. He's 13-0 in his career. You know, he's got some big wins. He was on Contender. He beat Jordan Williams. I don't think he's that good, but clearly, you know, was good enough to win this fight.
Yeah.
Paul Hughes gets the knockout win over Bobby King.
Yeah.
You know, squash match. Arlene Blencow, really nice win over Sinead Kavanaugh.
Yeah, we were wrong there.
We were. Dalton Ross, I did say this one though, Marcel. He picked up the win over
did.
Norbert Novendi as an underdog, majority decision. I wasn't ready to write off Dalton just yet. I think he's decent. Although his cardio is just terrible, right? Dara Kelly wins. Kasimov, Nate Kelly. Hassan Magomed Sharipov. Man, he's talented, eh? He really is.
Yeah. I want to see him in the UFC to be honest.
Some other fights. Again, I didn't really get a chance to watch too much of this card, but there was a lot of finishes and there was a lot of submissions on this card. I know Conor McGregor was there. Connor's kind of turned into a joke for me, to be honest with you, Marcel. I don't know about you, but the guy just doesn't give a shit about anyone except for himself. He's just
you know what's funny, man, is like all these Conor fanboys and Conor himself were like trashing fighters for pulling out of fights, you know, before broken ribs, broken whatever, you know. Now he pulls out because of a broken toe, man. So to all these Conor nut huggers and fanboys, suck my dick. Good for you. Yeah, to Conor, listen, when he pulled out, I was like, listen, man, if it's a legit injury, you know, things happen, it fucking sucks, you know. But now I'm hearing these people like, not Conor, but these fans like, yeah, but I only want to see Conor when he's 100%. He did so much for the sport. Shut the fuck up, you know. Yeah. I mean, keep the same energy as you did with all these other guys who were supposed to fight Conor and pulled out. You were trashing them. Why you don't trash him now?
Yeah,
you know?
I'm just tired of Conor, honestly, man. Like, I don't know. He hasn't fought in forever. I get why Chandler held out. I mean, he's still holding out. What do you think Chandler should do? Should he just forget about it at this point? What do you think he should do?
I mean, UFC, I think they will still want to rebook it soon, but I mean, it's Makachev said it perfectly, man. He compared Chandler to that Japanese dog who waited for his deceased owner for 9 years.
I know what you're talking about.
I mean,
there's a movie about that with Richard Gere. Can't remember his name. But the dog sat outside the train station for like 10 years after he died.
Yeah.
Sitting
there. I had to laugh so hard when I saw that, man. It's like, what the hell? But
that's funny.
It's like, man, I don't know what Chandler wants with his career. If it's like, I want this fight and it's done, yeah, you can wait. You know what I mean? But if this fight never comes, you pretty much threw your whole career in the UFC away, pretty much. You know what I mean? Yep. So, yeah, it's up to him, man. I mean, but I'm not bothered with it. I think we got a better card next week because of it. So,
in the end, we might have a better card. You're right, a deeper card. All right, I missed some comments, guys. Let me get them, and then we're going to finish the podcast and go to the preview for UFC 303. A couple comments. Yeah, Impa fight. Yeah, it was a good fight. You guys, Azmat Bekov. I didn't see it, but Dana White apparently is not interested, or Mick Maynard's not interested. That's what we're hearing. Don't know why. Maybe it's difficult to negotiate. I'm not sure, but he makes sense to go contender series for sure. Here's the stat. Here's the odds. Impa should be favored. I'm surprised Rob Wilkins is favored.
Yeah,
that's really surprising to me. Tom Breeze said before he was scared knocked out, so he had to withdraw. Yeah, he's got some anxiety problems. I'm taking Brent Primus. He's number 4. Holy shit! I'm taking Primus. You guys see the video of Sir Turkey holding hands with Dana? I saw him giving him the BMF belt. Fosby, Impa, Rob, and Gadzi Primus. It possibly could be. I think that makes sense, actually. Facts, I hope they sign in 4 ounce. Where's Zach? Miss Zach. Hey, Zach. Dana White's contender series? Yeah, it makes sense. Then Lee's by Lee. Yeah, they were. I want to see Zabit's brother. I mean, he looks good. I mean, I think he looks good. My bad was thinking of Bellator main event. And it's too bad Zabit retired. Because he retired in his prime, and I think Zabit could have been the champion. I know his cardio was a problem, right? But I think he's good. Surprising to see Jackson talk about leaving for UFC and lose. Well, he lost his focus. Think we were getting Pitbull versus Pico for the belt? I think so. That makes sense, right? It makes sense. Blankow won, then Avery Connor. So disrespectful. Will UFC create a new day for him soon? Dana said he's not sure. They probably know, and they're just not saying. It was like December, November when he fights. Probably. I could see it being in December, maybe that last pay-per-view potentially. I don't think they need him for the Sphere. They have other fights for that card. It was very tough. Who's the best prospect in contender series? I don't know. I'm not sure. Maybe Marcel knows more.
I haven't looked into it.
You have to ask Sean Bitter
or Nolan King.
Or Nolan King. Those guys know a lot about it. They have them but MGM I think has the odds. I think, or Caesars, one of those two. I was shocked when Zabit's brother couldn't finish Tyler Matheson. Yeah, the kicks he landed. There's that clip throwing on Marcel. He landed like 4 different crazy kicks. He did the tornado kick too. It was crazy. 360 tornado kick, dude. The body, I think it was. You watching the Euros, Marcel?
Yeah, man. I only missed like 2 early games because I have work to do, and I didn't bother about those games. And I missed last night, obviously, because the UFC was at the same time. But I've seen every other game. Yeah.
Netherlands, they're 1-0. Is that what it is, or?
Yeah, they won the first game against Poland, and they drew against France on Friday. And now
that's a good result, though. A draw, right? It's not bad.
Yeah, right? But what's a horrible game? What's the worst game of the tournament?
I haven't been watching. I did watch the Team Canada game, but we lost obviously to Argentina. No surprise there. He did lose his belt. All right, I don't know what happened to Marcel's thing, but it's okay. We're gonna end this podcast, guys.
What happened to my thing?
I don't know. We're gonna go to the UFC 303 previews. Just give me a minute here, guys. I'm gonna send the link out and on Twitter, and we'll go to the UFC 303 preview. So once again, everyone, appreciate you joining us. Stick around for a minute, guys, and we'll do the UFC 303 previews.